Hi, my name is Stein, and I'm going to be doing my persuasive speech on drug use. Drug use is becoming more and more popular in the American society today. More and more people, specifically young adults, are becoming more and more addicted and using all sorts of drugs more and more. The effects of drugs can be great on a young adult. They can affect your health. They're going to affect they can affect your family. They can affect your friends. They're most certainly going to affect your wallet size because drugs are becoming very expensive. And not only that, but they can kill you. You can die from an overdose of any sort of drugs. When people think of drug abuse, the first thing that comes to mind is all the illegal, the more popular drugs like marijuana, meth, heroin, cocaine, crack cocaine, and all sorts of stuff like that. When in reality, the most likely of drugs that are going to get passed around, that are more commonly used and are easier to find, are the prescriptive drugs. They're a lot cheaper, and they're just a lot easier to get used. They're a lot easier to find. Prescriptive drugs such as Vicodin, Xanax, Oxycontin, and Adderall are some of the more popular ones. Adderall is going to be your painkiller. Any type of surgery, any type of break or sprain, the doctors are going to go first thing and they're going to pass out Adderall. Adderall pills, if they're not prescribed to you, they are illegal, and they're easy to find. They can be sold from anywhere to $10 to $20 a pill, and they're no good for you, really. They're gonna make you drowsy. They're gonna make you unaware of things. They're illegal to drive if you're on Adderall and stuff like that. Another popular one, especially in the high school and college scene, is Adderall. Adderall is prescribed to students that have a hard time studying, have a hard time focusing on one specific thing, and they will take it to make sure that they stay awake and study for a test or something like that. Adderall is extremely addictive. There's a lot of kids that take it just to stay awake, just because they can, just because they think it makes them have a heightened sense of things. These drugs, prescriptive drugs, are definitely more addictive, and they're just so much easier to come upon than your hardcore illegal drugs. On the other side of things, there are a lot of illegal drugs that people do, especially the young adult, the same crowd. Cocaine, heroin, opium, PCP, anything like that. One of the statistics show that over 20 million Americans aged 12 and above use illegal drugs. And that's a really fascinating fact. That's a lot of people, and that's just in America. And there's tons and tons of people using these drugs, and honestly, they do nothing for you. These drugs are very dangerous. They harm your body. They can devastate your brain. And when taken too much of them, they are very, very dangerous. They can kill you very easily in an overdose. In fact, the death rate for the illegal drugs is almost a little over 19,000 a year, which ends up to about 2 people each hour who die from a drug overdose from the illegal drugs, such as heroin and stuff like that. The biggest thing about it these illegal drugs is they become very addictive. And the younger age you start and the more you do of it, the more you have to take to get your high, the more you have to consume and put into your body to get the high that you had when you first started. And that's a really dangerous thing, because the more you put into your body when you're older, you don't even know how much is going into your body, and you still can't feel that high because your body's so used to it. And that's when overdose comes into play. Statistics show that 1/4 of drug-related hospital visits come from prescribed drugs such as the Adderall, the Xanax, stuff like that. 40% of people think that prescription drugs are safer, which they're not, because they're very addictive, and they are very easily, people can come upon them, and a lot of people use them. 31% of people think that it's okay to take prescribed drugs for non-medical reasons, which is completely false. If you're not prescribed to be using one of those drugs, it is completely illegal, and you can get in trouble for it. There are more ways that drugs cause death more than just overdose. Any of these drugs, like I said, are illegal while driving, can impair your judgment, and they cause a lot of car accidents these days. Not only that, drugs are ridiculously expensive. Drugs are really going to hurt you financially, especially in the world we have today. There's a lot of people that really shouldn't be able to afford drugs, but pretty much just do it anyway. Basically, there isn't really a reason to take drugs. Drugs do nothing for you. They're going to hurt you. They're going to hurt your health. They're going to separate you from your friends. They're especially going to hurt your wallet size, and they're going to do nothing positive for you. So really, there's no reason to get involved in any sort of drugs. Are there any questions?
So, what would you consider being the most popular drug?
An illegal drug, probably the most popular is marijuana. Marijuana is seen in a lot of high schools, a lot of college towns. Most people think that it's harmless. Most people think that marijuana is just something to have a good time, to get a nice little high off of. But what people don't realize is, one, the brain cells that they're killing. Two, they realize that they're losing money, but I mean, in the end, it all adds up, just like anything else. But it's really easy to find, and it's probably the most popular.
All right. Can you really get addicted to a drug like meth, just using it one time?
You can. There's certain drugs like meth, like heroin, cocaine, that are really, really addictive. And most people are going to tell you that, no, I'm not addicted. I can stop whenever I want, but they never really do. I mean, you still see them using drugs, the next day. I mean, they say they can stop.
They can't.
They really can't.
So do you know if which drugs show up on drug tests more, or like which of these drugs will affect in athletics eligibility and everything like that?
Anything will show up on a drug test. All drugs, anything you can pick out of a drug test if you're looking for it, and any of the illegal drugs will be picked out. Now the prescribed drugs, they're not gonna be pulled out of a urine drug test if it shows up in moderate accounts. I mean, everything's a percentile in a urine test, so I mean, if Adderall is a very, very little percent or a part of a percent, then no, it's not gonna show up. And if it does show up in a large percent, then they're gonna go to your doctor and see if you're prescribed to be taken in, and if you're not, it will come back to get you.
All right. If I just pop a few Adderalls to study for a test, I mean, could that affect me later on in life, you think?
Will it affect